extremely pleased to welcome today the Honorable Tony Coelho, a lifelong disability rights advocate. He is a former U.S. Congressman from California, where he served as Majority Whip. As Congressman, Mr. Coelho was the primary author and sponsor of the Americans with Disability Act, a landmark piece of legislation that has acted as a national mandate for the elimination of discrimination against individuals with disabilities. Among his many pursuits, he currently serves as the Disability Council Chair for the DNC. Mr. Coelho, welcome and thank you so much.
Thank you, Quinn. Nice to be with you.
In your view, why is it important that people with disabilities vote? And I know you have a lot to say about that.
Let me just sort of narrow it down to this, that we with disabilities have a right to speak for ourselves instead of other people speaking for us. So we should vote in order to protect our right to speak for ourselves. We are 25% of America's voting population. We as a community would have a huge impact if all of us voted. And as a result of that, we could protect our rights. There are people always trying to take our rights away from us. We fought hard 30 years ago to get the ADA. Now there's deliberate attempts to try to do something about it. The Supreme Court just ruled to basically say that in Alabama that, you don't have, there was to permit those of us with disabilities to vote. They restricted that right, which in effect starts to eat away at what we're concerned about in regards to disabilities. And what I worry about to a great extent is that what we're getting into is more and more people are eating away at those rights that we fought hard to get over the years. So the only way we prevent it is if we as a community are willing to go ahead and fight for our basic rights. And that's critical.
What do you see as the biggest barrier to voting for people with disabilities?
Well, the one today that I'm most concerned about is that 98.2%, that means, I'll repeat it, 98.2. So 98% of all websites are not accessible. And there's been a fight by one of the pizza companies to try to make sure that ADA didn't cover the internet. And it went all the way through the court system. The appellate court ruled that the ADA did have jurisdiction. Supreme Court accepted the appellate court decision, which means it's the law of the land now. That only happened this year, a few months ago. So now it's the enforcement of the ADA in regards to the internet. So if we have a disability, we have a right to the internet just like anybody else. And the ADA gives us that right, but we had to force that to happen. Now what we need to have is the Justice Department to enforce the law with all these websites, these major companies and so forth. Now with as a result of this election, hopefully we have somebody at Justice who will enforce that law.
What would you say to young and first-time voters with disabilities to encourage them to go vote?
Well, I think as I indicated before, it's exciting for us to be part of everyday society, to be able to get a job, be eligible to get an opportunity for a job. It's great for us to participate in every way. And so we need to make sure we exercise our rights to vote in order to do the things that we need to do as people with disabilities. I don't like the fact that people say that because I have a disability or that you have a disability, Quinn, then immediately people say, you can't do this or you can't do that. It's called stigma. And I hate stigma, but stigma prevents us from doing things that I think we can do.
You are preaching to the choir. But congratulations, by the way, 30 years for the ADA. What are you looking forward to And how would you like to see the ADA grow and expand?
Well, I think as I am implied in technology, we need to make that happen because technology is the new interstate highway, as I call it, for information, for us doing finances, for us job applications, whatever it is, we in the disability community are dependent upon access to the internet. It is a tool that is very helpful to us if accessible. So accessibility across the board, but particularly the accessibility on the internet. But you know, if you have a cell phone, it provides a lot of accommodations within the accessibility part of the phone. So it's built in, it's not an accommodation that's added. So we need to have accessibility across the board in buildings, but in websites. So accessibility itself is a critical thing, accessibility in technology. And then we have to work on jobs. It is important that we have a right to fail, as I like to say, in regards to a job. But if you don't give me the right to fail, I'll never succeed.
Exactly.
And so that becomes a real critical point. But in order to be able to apply for jobs and so forth, we need to make sure the internet is there so we can use it like everybody else does.
I've always said that failing is succeeding.
That's exactly right. I mean, I take the view, I always use this example. If you're a baseball player and you strike out 7 times, but you hit 3 times, you're a star.
Yeah.
And so for us, you know, give us 10 shots. We'll score on 3.
It's one of my favorite lines is when Thomas Edison was trying to invent what would eventually become the light bulb. His assistant said, "Why do you keep doing this? You failed 250 times to invent the light bulb." He said, "No, I haven't. I've learned 250 times how not to make a light bulb."
I like that. I'm going to
We
use
need
that.
to look at the world.
I'm going to use that.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to next in your life?
Well, I'm 78, Quinn. So I've been very fortunate in doing a lot of things over the years. I just want to keep advocating and trying to make a difference. I am working hard right now, and this is my goal, is to get people with disabilities to vote, to participate in the political process. That means giving money, $1 if necessary, but contributing, being involved and get out the vote and doing everything in the political process. Because nowadays, groups that are people running for president, running for governor, running for US senator, they don't come to us and ask us our advice. We have to go to them and say, we need this or we need that, or we believe this or we believe that. And I want it the other way around.
Mr. Coelho, thank you so much for your time and your knowledge and sharing your knowledge. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Gwen. Enjoyed it very much.